Hi, I'm Evan Pantazi. I wanted to address a question by Shawn Simon on the YouTube channel. I forget what video it's on, but I will link it in the description. He asked the question, what about a pressure point? What's the pressure point called on the outside of the hand near the small finger knuckle? And the only thing I can think of really is the triple warmer 23, or excuse me, triple warmer number 3. Okay, now I don't, again, go by pressure points because you can stick a needle in here and you can get a soothing result for acupuncture, but if you stuck a needle into the nerve, you would cause numbness in the finger. You'd cause, at first, an intense shock of pain, and then you would cause a numbness in the finger and maybe even physical disability of that finger. So, again, an acupuncturist is not going to use a needle to stick in there. But let's take a look at the underlying structures. Let's get rid of the skin here first. Now you can see that the back of the hand is kind of odd in the sense that in most areas, you see here in the leg, for example, you have the muscle, you have the nerve that's exterior to the vascular tissue because the vascular tissue is a much more vital structure. But you see it usually recessed under the nerves. But in the hand, you can see that it's more superficial. Okay, and the nerves don't protect it as much. And you can even see that by looking at the back of the hand. Just clench a fist a few times fast and let it go. And you'll see that the vascular tissue pumps up. But that's not what we're after. So let's just get rid of the vascular tissue for now. Now you can see the back of the hand. I mean, you can see this like lattice work right here, and it would appear from this drawing that it's tendon, but it's actually not. It's actually muscle. Okay, so if we looked at it, you can see that it's the extensor digitorum. Okay, and if we take a look a little bit more, it's the extensor digitorum. It's a muscle of the superficial layer of the posterior forearm. All right, so it's not really a tendon as it would appear. This is again another muscle. So there's muscle that actually covers in some of this area. Now it's exposed, okay, but it's covering a little bit more, and that's where you're going to be sticking your acupuncture needle. You're not going to stick it in this nerve. So again, acupuncture and Kyusho are two different things in the nerve structures. But let's get rid of the muscles. A little bit confusing. Let's just get down to the nerves. We'll get rid of the muscles here. Now you can see the nerves. And again, this nerve, or what he's hoping to uncover, and what I'm going to try to expose for him now, is this is the nerve that you're actually after. Now, pressing on it's very difficult to get a reaction. All right, so what we want to do is, if we are going to press on it, the idea would be to press it into the bone. And it's the same thing with all of these nerves. You would want to press this nerve into the bone this way. You want to press this nerve here this way. So you can see that it's going to be a rather difficult thing to do, especially in a self-defense situation. Sometimes in the dojo you might be able to make it work, but it all depends on the size of your thumb, the space in between the person's two metacarpals. These are metacarpal bones. This is the fourth one. This is the fifth one. Okay, so pinching it in between those two bones would be difficult with your finger. Okay, but luckily we have a technique almost akin to Sankyo, the Aikido hand lock or wrist lock. They use it as a wrist lock. I use it as a joint lock in between, or a joint manipulation between these two metacarpals, where I squeeze the pinky over the ring finger, and I'll show you a video of that in action. That will debilitate the body. It weakens the whole body because there's an intense shock of pain, but it does send this the message along this major nerve here, which is the ulnar nerve. And you can see that it's different aspects of the ulnar. Now, these nerves here are radial nerves, okay? They're different branches of the radial nerve, the superficial branch of the radial nerve. On the inside of the hand, you have the median nerve, but again, outside you have the radial nerve, and this one is the ulnar nerve. Very difficult to get these to work. You can do it with a knuckle occasionally, like if you knocked on like you're knocking on a door, knocking into the back of someone's hand. You can elbow the back of someone's hand and possibly catch a nerve just right to make the person scream, even on this nerve right in through here, the ulnar nerve. But really difficult in a combative situation to apply that. If the guy's pinned on the ground and you're an officer, for example, and you need to do a search and you want to pin the person's hand to the ground or the wall or the hood of a car, then you can take a knuckle and dig into that, and that would have a really good effect if you caught that nerve just right against it. But again, it depends on the size of your knuckle compared to the space between the person's two bones. All right, so that can be a little tough. So in combat, I don't use that. Sankyo, if I can find it, I'll use it. But again, I'm not working on the wrist. Now, most Sankyos work on twisting the wrist out of place or dislocating the joint or causing the pain intensely in this joint. There's a better way to do it, an easier way to do the Sankyo, just by pulling the small finger. So the metacarpal here touches the metacarpal here, and it compresses all those nerve structures. And you can see, let's turn him a little bit more. You can see that there's a couple more nerves that interlie in there, not just this one. But you can make that compression in between the two bones, which of course is going to hurt the person an awful lot more. And even with the muscle structure on, because the muscles are going to be more in the palm of the hand rather than on the back of the hand. Okay, and let's get this guy to move over just a little bit for us. It's a little slow when it's this zoomed in. Okay, but let's get that over there. You can see that that exposure right in there, the muscle isn't going to protect it. The muscle protects the nerves on the palm of the hand, because let's face it, as an animal, we use the palms of our hands and grabbing things, squeezing things, so the muscles protect the nerves. On the back of the hand, you have this muscle group right in through here, the digitorums, that protect a little bit and keep the skin above that, so there's an extra layer of protection, but not as much as it would be on the palm of the hand, protected by that muscle group. And again, if you have the vascular tissue, you can see that the vascular tissue is right out there as well. So, Shawn, I hope this answered your question on this area right in through here that you queried about, the pressure point. Again, it's called triple warmer. Let's fix that. Number 3. But again, I don't use pressure points because I rather look at the underlying structures, the real anatomy, to get the real effects and understand how to get that. And if you just push a needle straight in, you're probably going to hit this nerve right in through here, or excuse me, this muscle right in through here, which protects the nerves, and that's where the acupuncture needle goes, not into the nerve. Because if you stuck a needle in that nerve, that person's going to scream like you wouldn't believe, and not too soothing. So again, it's not equated to the triple warmer 3. Triple warmer 3 is going to be right up on this muscle group right in through here. And so hopefully that answers your question, and you can take a look at that tuite and see how you can compress that nerve using a Sankyo type action. So thanks for watching. Hand in your questions, folks. I'll answer them the best I can using anatomical charts or videos or whatever I can to help you. So again, thanks for watching.
The next tuite that we're going to be moving into is a movement called Sankyo. Okay, Sankyo is where you have the person's hand or wrist twisted. Okay, this is typically to damage the joint by twisting the joint out of place. Now again, on a much larger individual, this could cause me problems because of the strength factor. Also, on a smaller size individual, my hands might not be big enough to grab the whole hand. What I want to be able to do is hook onto the small finger. I also want to touch the large intestine 3. Now, large intestine 3, the radial nerve comes right up the side of the index finger. There's a pressure point right at the knuckle, the first knuckle. What I want to do is always push that toward the knuckle. That causes a little bit of pain, and that weakens the person's ability to hold a tight fist. So if I'm in this position, he doesn't grab my hand, working it in, and catch my fingers by mistake. By working on this large intestine 3, it actually opens the hand so I have control. Now on this one, I'm going to take the pinky and I'm going to slide the pinky across to the index finger. What happens is that triple warmer 3 that we mentioned earlier in the video, that becomes squeezed between the two metacarpals. So as I just merely touch the 2 points and push, you can see there's a body weakening. Okay, there's also intense pain with this. So as I slipped into this motion, I'm not going to twist the wrist, I'm just going to pull onto the finger. Now here's another fun, interesting exercise to do. Energy again moves up the arm in an attempt to get out to the floor to ground. If I merely touch the back of the elbow here, you'll see a lot more dysfunction. Okay? Now, several ways we can go about using this. Okay? If the person comes in with punch and I parried this, I could just feed this right in. Okay? This is one method of getting to it. Another method might be just switching right around and turning in, or if he's got me into what's called a guillotine. Okay, into this position, I loosen the leg, I can slide right out, affecting the lock. Okay, so there's several different ways you can go about doing this. Even on the ground, you can work your tuite. So once again, this maneuver is, as the punch comes in, maybe I parried the punch, I lock onto those wrist points that we mentioned earlier to open that hand once again. I reach right in. Now, at this point, he might be thinking that he can punch or kick me on the other side. But it's highly unlikely since I've got full body function over him or dysfunction, okay? As he sinks into the motion, he cannot even kick at me, okay? Stand up straight. Okay, if he went to do a side kick, say, into my knee with this, okay? As all I have to do is twist this, as his weight goes down or he comes up onto his toes, he's unable to kick. So once again, the parry, twist those hand points to get him up, and then lock or switch him down. Okay? This is the tuite.